let's play a game. Let's say he wins this election somehow. There's a less than 20%
15% chance. Yeah.
Let's say he loses.
Yeah.
What's the famous line? Losers don't get to write the history. Quote. Help me out here with quote. Winners write history. There's going to be a different narrative if Trump wins re-election, wins 8 years. There's a story behind it. Comes in and shakes the system up and rocks things. He's there for 8 years, gets reelected. I mean, he can write that story. He does not get reelected. What does his tombstone, his obituary sound like if he only wins 4 years versus 8 years? What does that sound like to you?
I think his and this is a shame because of what he did in the beginning of his term, because of some of the funding that went into African American colleges, because of opportunity zones and other efforts that were made, because of him tearing back regulations, because he made it easier to do business in America, and was kind of the architect of bringing the unemployment rate down to a 50-year low. A lot of that was Federal Reserve policy. A lot of it was, but it was also making it easier to do business in America, which at last check, it should be easy. It's America. There should have never been all that red tape in the Obama years, period, end. But I'm not so sure that history is going to give him that credit because of where the economy is headed now. And because the coronavirus has hit the minority working population so hard. So it's going to remain to be seen. If we're entering a dark chapter in U.S. history, then you could look to spiteful historians especially. Spiteful historians who feel like they've been marginalized in a Trump world. Think about your typical political pundit who's basically been, in hibernation for the last 4 years inside the Beltway. He hasn't needed people to tell him what to think, nor has he needed advisors to tell him what to say. He thinks it, he tweets it. I mean, there's really there's no stopping him in between. But it is possible that he not gets the credit that he deserves for some of the things that he did accomplish for the U.S. economy.
What do you think it sounds like if he only wins 4 years versus 8 years?
Listen, let's just face it. This is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive person we've had as a president in the history of America.
Yeah.
He's extremely competitive, at least the last 50 years that we know of.
To a
all
fault.
the other stuff, I don't disagree. Okay, he's extremely competitive. But I don't mind having a guy like that on my side. I just don't. I don't mind having a guy like that on my side. He's going to hate it. He will be miserable. He will hate life. To a person like that, it'll be very, very hard for him. Publicly, he'll act fine. Deep down inside, the guy cannot stand losing. He hates losing. When Michael lost, you felt the pain. You know he hated it, and you loved him for it because you loved how much it mattered to him that he lost. That's where he's at. He's going to hate losing, and I love that. I love the fact that it matters so much to a guy who is going to hate losing. Is he going to be the kind of a guy that's going to come out and say, well, we've lost, we lost, and they won fair and square? I'm going to say no. He's not going to do that. He's going to come out, he's going to put a comment and say, well, it is what it is. Now,
but what are they going to write about him? Meaning, like, that's how he feels.
I'm going to say this to you if you give me a second. So
Yes,
we've had 3 one-term presidents in the last 50 years, 40 years. We had Ford, Carter,
Bush
Senior. Prior to that was
Senior.
Hoover. Yeah, Senior, of course, when against. But first of all, Ford anomaly. Put him on a complete different side because of what happened, how he became a president. He didn't even win re-election for whatever. Ford is Ford. So then you have a Carter, who won the worst presidents we've had. Nicest guy,
nice guy, but got blown
sweethearted
out by
guy, but
Reagan.
a horrible president. We had I'm in America because of Carter, just so you know that. If there's no Carter, I'm still in Iran. I'm here in America because of Carter.
I was
So
about to
that's
say,
your
so bring Carter back into the discussion. Continue.
Yeah, and then you have Bush Senior, which honestly, Bush Senior to me was more of a COO. He was never a CEO. There's a difference between a COO and a CEO.
He was never a number one, is what
No,
you're
he's not
saying.
a number one. He's a guy behind closed doors that's a great project manager. Give him a project, he will lead it, he'll get it done. That was him. He was never the guy that's going to come out and inspire people. It's just you never saw him like that.
And Ross Perot showed up from Texas.
He will
completely ruined
be,
his chances.
Trump will be loved, admired, adored by a lot of people on his side. Now, is he going away? That's the question. The question isn't really legacy, because legacy is going to have both sides. There's going to be sides comedians are going to love trashing him.
Well, they already do.
No. It's going to go to a whole different level.
You think it's going to get even uglier?
It's going to go to a whole different level. I can't wait for SNL, his reaction, it's going to go to a whole different level if he loses. Comedians are going to rock the house saying, I told you so. This guy, they're going to crush it. TV, the Don Lemons of the world, the Cuomos of the world, the Coopers, they're going to be loving life the next 4 years. However, he's 74. In 4 years, he'll be Biden's age. If there's anybody that's the kind of person that's going to prepare the next 4 years to make a comeback and come and ruin these guys' lives, if there's one guy that would do something like that, it's Trump.
Can he run again in 4 years?
Of course
Is that
he can.
How that works?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Yes,
he will.
Okay, so
yeah, he can.
He'll be running again in 4 years.
It's happened before. He
So
can.
you're answering my question. You're actually answering my question. Jimmy Carter. Rank presidents, living presidents who have brought more to their country. Current living presidents.
That have brought, meaning what? Like done good?
Done good for their country in their lifetimes. Living presidents.
Clinton? That have done good, meaning they did a good time when they were 4 years, they did good for the economy?
After they left office.
Including their time after office.
Oh, Carter's a nonprofit charity guy, involved, active. Yeah, he just wasn't a good president.
Foreign relations, even.
Terrible president.
Continuing to work outside of America, on America's behalf.
Betty Ford is the same. If you put the Ford family, they did as well. There's a lot. Yes, sure.
So,
yeah.
but Carter's legacy is pretty incredible.
Not as a president.
For how bad his presidency has
as a human being.
And, George W.
He disappeared.
And has been, what, gracious, even though he was...
He never undermined Obama. Obama's done it
like
a million times
with
to
Obama
Trump.
now.
He
never undermined Obama, even though Obama every day said, I got a bad administration. He trashed Bush, but Bush never trashed Obama.
Dignified.
Big time.
Big time dignified.
Yeah, I mean, I got his picture there in my office because I liked the way he handled himself. But what he did is he disappeared. He didn't want the limelight. He gave it to Obama.
Right.
Sure.
And his
something Obama couldn't do.
His legacy now is therefore pristine.
Sure.
So
I wouldn't say pristine. He went into the Iraq. He caused the 2008 recession.
There were a lot of things.
There's still people that don't like him.
His personality is
I understand,
well regarded.
But we're
Some
talking,
of his policies,
right? But I'm not talking about what he did as president. I'm talking about legacy.
Yeah.
4 years from now, let's say Trump does not run. What does his legacy look like?
Well, that's essentially what
to
I was.
To who?
To the country as a whole.
I don't see it that way. I think forever there is a playbook for future Trumps. Forever. Everybody who sees themselves as a Trump, who's not a career politician, who wants to one day run for office, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, Trump officially gave him the playbook.
Oprah.
Rock. Trump officially gave him the playbook. Trump gave him the playbook to say, Trump secretly is many people's hero, but they cannot say it publicly. Listen, many people voted for Trump. You know how you ask people and say, who'd you vote for? I'm not going to say. You voted for Trump. Because who the hell would say I'm not going to say if you voted for Biden? Like, for example, remember
Ray Crockett, for one.
Wait a minute. Remember Megyn Kelly?
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly years ago, she tried to play the card because she wanted to be Oprah. I don't know if you guys remember. She wanted to get like an Oprah contract.
She couldn't get that.
So Megyn Kelly in 2016, she's passed up Bill O'Reilly. People are watching Megyn Kelly more than they're watching Bill O'Reilly. Everybody's like, dude, I'm tuning into Megyn Kelly. And then all of a sudden, Megyn Kelly started playing the card of, I'm not really this. I'm not really that. And then she got the contract.
Yep.
And then she got the contract and she trashed Fox. Where's Megyn Kelly today? Where's Megyn? If Megyn Kelly would have stood ground and said, look, I have problems with Fox. I don't like this stick, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to stick to my positions. Megyn Kelly would have ruled the world today.
I agree.
But what happened? There is this community.
She went Hollywood on us.
There is this community that is afraid of where they're going to be secretly, millions of people admire Trump, and a lot of people are going to use this guy's playbook. Dude, you got to realize, I mean, you know how hard it is to not give credit to a guy that his entire career, he played business. He did everything he ever wanted. And then at the end of the day, he says, you know what, I'm going to go freaking run for office. Out of 16 people, the only person that said this guy's going to win it all was who? Who was the only crazy psycho, woman that said, oh, this guy's going to win it? Ann Coulter on Bill Maher says, if it ends today, Trump's winning. He's like, what? Right. Are you out of your mind? And then Obama made fun of him. Yeah. Everybody, George Clooney, everybody joked about this guy. And he won. against Hillary Clinton, who's supposed to be Madam Secretary, Queen of the world. He beat Hillary Clinton. So there is a part that legacy-wise, this guy changed the game. Love him or hate him, he changed the game. Look, I don't have to like LeBron to know he changed the game. I don't have to like somebody to say a person changed the game. Trump absolutely changed the game, win or lose. But I'm going to tell you, listen, Adam, there's certain people, when they make millions, they disappear. There's certain people in the game of basketball, they win one championship, they disappear. There's certain people, they get a nice corporate job, they disappear. There's certain people that you used to lose to. They get this much of a victory, they disappear. This is not that guy.
No.
Just so you know this. This is not that guy. And not only is he not going to disappear, so people say, well, he's going to disappear when he dies. Absolutely not, even when he dies, whatever age he dies.
Yeah.
The Trump spirit is going to be in so many younger, if he loses, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if he loses. Say he loses. Say he loses. Brother, Danielle, if this guy loses, you officially have a group of tens of thousands, not millions, because it's not true believers, tens of thousands of true believers that are not going to forget this. Tens of thousands of true believers that are not going to forget this. And we're going to see what they're going to be doing the next 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20 years.
So he parlays this into, I mean, the running theory, the conventional wisdom is that he parlays this into his own network, that he unseats Fox News.
He could easily do that.
That he becomes the next Rupert Murdoch.
He could easily do that. But I don't know. I don't know if he is going to be satisfied with just that. Because, you know, when you've reached a mountaintop of a certain business, you're just kind of like annoyed by it. And you go and you start negotiating with other dignitaries and presidents and prime ministers. You really want to go back to negotiating with other presidents of CEOs of companies? You're bored. You're like, dude, I played this game already. Who the hell wants to go win basketball at YMCA when you're playing at college level? When you're in the NBA, who wants to go play against college level and be college?
So where can he go? Where can he go to be bigger, in theory?
Here's where he can go. Phenomenal question. Here's where he can go. Where he can go is what Republicans haven't been doing. I'm in Chicago at the Ritz-Carlton a few years ago, before Trump. So put it 14, 15. I'm at the Ritz, and there's 2,000 African-American men and women in their 18, 19, 20, 21. Sharp, all look ridiculous. Like, I'm talking beautiful three-piece suit. The ladies wearing nice dresses like the ones you put together. Everybody's looking money, right? And I'm like, what are you guys doing here? We're the future Democratic lawyers of the African-American community. I said, what's this all about? He says, well, we're a private organization. We come together. Who's your hero? Barack Obama. What do you guys want to be? We're all running for one day. Maybe we'll be president. And let me tell you, it was so flippin' impressive. I'm like, dang, this is impressive. So he's breeding the next Obamas. Good for you. If Trump really loves America, if he really loves America, okay, but people who believe in him believe that this guy really loves America. And the foundation America was founded on, he wants to protect that. If he does, the next thing he's got to do is figure out more the university route, the more the education route, the more the rallying the next troops route, duplicating himself route. It's not through corporation. It's about, I'm going to bring 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 young cats, and I'm going to get this mindset in their brain over and over and over and over and over and over again for this spirit to last for the next 50, 60, 100 years.
You're saying that's the direction that he should go?
I don't think the media is I think the media is going to be a small play for him. Listen, I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he could do it. But I think he's got, 2 kids that could one day run for office. He's got a son-in-law that could run for office. He's got a son that's 14 years old that's one day going to be the center of whatever, but he could run for office.
He could run for office after he plays professional basketball.
And then his grandkids, listen, what happened to Kennedy's?
Legacy beyond, you're saying.
No, these guys are not going to go away. They're not going to go away.
Well, the Hoover Institute, it's Stanford, very conservative organization, has been speaking out vociferously, saying that the liberal university system in America is killing free speech and the First Amendment. And you know what, Patrick? I think that there is an appetite to bring balance back into higher education in America, such that it's not such a one-leaning way of thinking. And parents, I've got kids who will be going to university in a few years. I completely applaud that. Why pay all this money in tuition to send your child off to be brainwashed in one way? I mean, theoretically, higher learning should teach them how to think for themselves and not be brainwashed. So if something like that, I think, has tremendous appetite in the United States right now.
I agree. So I'm thinking it's more university than I'm thinking it's about
But what
a
you're
company.
describing is a little bit more dignified than what I would expect from Trump. So good for him if he's going to raise the bar for himself to start influencing the next generation of conservative thinkers in America. We need that.
No, you won't give me.
But he's not a conservative thinker. That's not his brand.
He will look. Listen, capitalism, Marxism, right? Marxism is behind whose name? A person's name. Karl Marxism.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is not about, I'm a conservative Republican. Trump would much rather have a Trumpism. Yeah, Trumpism. He is about that, right? Mm-hmm. So he's not, it has to be branded around his name.
It's populism, isn't it? Isn't it like bravado,
I'm not
brashness,
sitting here
populism?
telling you I don't understand this guy who he is. I understand who Trump is. I've been in business with people like Trump, and you don't mind having a guy like that on your camp. Mm-hmm. You don't mind having a guy like that on your camp.
No, if you're doing business, hell no.
You don't mind having a guy.
Sign me up.
Not only business. You would have loved a Democratic Trump. Let me tell you, Democrats would have loved a Trump that's a Democrat.
Give me a Democrat who.
That's true.
Who would be.
You guys are very quick to jump to conclusion. If that guy was wearing your color jersey, you love him. He's your guy.
Give me.
Wait.
Are you kidding me?
I gotta do the big timeout right here because I support the person. So what did I get for supporting the person when I was
Pence.
when I lived in New York City? What did I get for supporting the person? Because here comes Hillary Clinton running for the Senate in the state of New York, and I'm like, I don't get that. Not her state. I don't understand. I don't understand. I was raised. So there I go. I go register to vote, change my driver's license in the city of New York. I go knowing completely I'm wasting my vote, voting for this guy, Rick Lazio, who nobody's heard of anymore.
In New York? Where is this?
In New York. So, I'd been living in New York for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing New Yorkers kept saying is, Danielle, don't get rid of your Texas driver's license. Don't ever, ever get a New York driver's license. Don't ever vote in the state of New York. You will get jury duty so fast your head spins. Within 2 weeks, what do I get? Jury duty. But I didn't know who Rick Lazio was, but I did know that Hillary Clinton had no business being in the state of New York. It wasn't her state. So in order to vote against her, I went out and did my civic duty and registered as a Republican in the state of New York and went and voted for this Rick person just to make my statement to Hillary. So don't ever pigeonhole me. You never know.
Pigeonhole you with what? With which part?
But if you just said if Trump,
I said to him, I'm saying to him. No, I don't put you as a.
No, I don't think he was
I
going
know
there
who
with
you
that.
are. I'm not going at you at all. No, I know you're.
He wasn't going there with that.
Zero.
I didn't
I'm
take
going
that at
at
all.
him. I'm not going at you. What I'm saying is.
I think Trump would have made
he's coming my angle.
a much better Democrat.
What I'm saying is, it's not about whether he would have made a better Democrat or Republican. All I'm saying is, if Democrats had a Trump, they would adore him.
Who's the Democratic Trump? Let's say Biden wins. Cool. He doesn't want to run for re-election, but Democrats say, you know what?
Cuomo? Who are you thinking is a Democratic
I'm asking
Trump?
you.
Are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Who's the Democratic Trump?
Well, you're not going to have many Democratic Trumps. Bloomberg is not a Democratic Trump. Cuomo is not a Democratic Trump because he hasn't. The only person that could be a Democratic Trump, the only person, and he's not as much of a true believer as Trump is, the only person that could is a Cuban. The only person.
Mark Cuban.
He could. Cuban could be a Democratic Trump.
What about like some?
Not Rock. By the way,
yeah.
How diplomatic is The Rock?
Hey, brother, let me tell you. No, not
very
diplomatic.
No, he's very diplomatic. When it comes to politics,
diplomatic?
How diplomatic is Cuban?
No, he's pretty brash. He's not exactly.
What I'm trying to say, and he's a billionaire, and he's a sport, and he's a TV guy, and he's a Shark Tank guy.
You're saying big personality.
Yeah, not just a big personality, a person that's willing to go to war and likes the heat.
Okay, but
he likes the heat.
But go back to your point. Go back to your point because it's really important that we shape, not that we shape the thinking, but that we teach college age kids how to think for themselves. So I don't care what Trump is if it's Trumpism that he's selling or conservatism, that doesn't matter. What we need in our university system is to get away from and to escape free of unilateral thinking. It can't just be left, liberal in all of our universities and colleges because it's just a gigantic waste of money.
Let me tell you why I respect Trump. I know this is the angle we were going.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here's why I respect Trump. We asked about the obituary and legacy, what have you. it's pretty clear that Biden has a very, very, very likely path to 270, right? Think about who Biden was running against. Biden was running against Trump. Period. Full stop. Who was Trump running against? 3 major things. He was running against Biden and the DNC. There's one. He's running against COVID, a freaking pandemic. And the third thing is he's running against the media. So Trump is going against 3 very powerful entities.
And the pollsters.
Pollsters, you might say. And almost pulled it off. And according to him, did pull it off. So Trump's a fighter. He's brash, no doubt. There's high likelihood he'll be back in 2024 just because I can see him getting super salty and just getting pumped up and getting riled up. And like what he's saying in the last debate, I ran because of you, Joe Biden. So he's going to look at what Joe Biden potentially does over the next 4 years and regroup. If not, we'll see where the Republican Party goes from
here. Let me tell you.
He's just going to have to lay off the Big Macs.
He will not. He will. Let me tell you what's going to happen, what Obama did. You know what Obama did?
Tell me.
The fact that Obama didn't stop trashing Trump after Trump got elected and do what Bush did to him, Trump is going to do to Obama 1,000,000 times more.
Trump to Obama? Trump to
Obama
Biden?
and Biden, both of them. He's going to go at their throats nonstop for 4 years. It's going to be at levels you've never seen before.
Yeah, but Obama can just say one thing that Trump will... Obama will be like, I was here for 8, buddy. You were here for 4. Have a nice day.
No,
you don't think Trump's going to like get so heated just hearing that? I'm double as good as you, buddy.
Do you not think...
So
who's
easy
a better
to come
smack
back.
talker? Who's a better smack talker?
I think they're both
Who's a
good in
better
a different way.
smack talker?
If you want to go down and dirty, Trump. If you want to go high and classy and well-worded, Obama.
All right, okay.
What I'm saying
Patrick,
to you here
what
is-
happens when he's being offered $1 million every time he stands in front of a podium?
What about
He
it?
takes it.
But what's your point, though? You mean
You
he's going to...
you don't think there's any way that he'll take the former president dignified route?
No.
Hell no.
No, because you're not paying him $1 million to give that talk.
The key word there was
I didn't-
dignified, Danielle.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not giving $1 million to give that speech. If you want that speech, you give it to somebody else, not to him. You giving him the $1 million to come up and talk trash.
You're basically bringing him to the WWE.
You're giving him the money for that. But it's about to be gangbusters. And he loses. Brother, there's certain people shouldn't lose. There's certain opponents you don't want them to lose publicly. You just don't.
Who else is on that list?
There's some people you do not want a Tiger and MJ. You don't want certain competitors to lose
What do you
publicly.
mean you don't want them to lose? What does that mean?
If you're their opponent, you don't want to beat them and
Well,
humiliate
I'll tell you
them
what.
publicly.
There's 70+ million people that would love to see him lose.
No, not
and
the
deal
voters.
with that.
Not the voters. Not the voters. The opponents. The opponents, not the voters.
I still
agree.
think that they want him to lose, and they'll deal with the
I
ramifications.
don't disagree with you, but I don't disagree. Here's what I don't think Biden's going to do. I don't think Biden is going to go at Trump's throat. I don't think
Biden has it in his DNA to be
I think
cutthroat
Kamala
like
will.
that.
I think Kamala will.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Biden will. I don't think Biden will. I think
Do
Kamala
you think
will.
Biden will have an opportunity to potentially at some point pardon Trump?
Pardon Trump.
I think that's a...
Where are you going with that, Danielle?
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
that's
there are hundreds of thousands of dollars of debts that become due that are presumably in a holding pattern as long as he's still president.
Well, I mean, his taxes are still under audit.
No, I'm not talking about his taxes.
She's not talking taxes. She's talking about other things. But listen, to say pardon, you have to have things to pardon. You know, that's a technical question you're asking.
Danielle, answer your own
It's like
question.
when you're going to
Where you
stop
going with
beating
that?
your wife, type of a thing. That's automatically putting the guy as beating his wife. So I get what you did right there. But all I'm saying to you is this guy's not a guy you want to lose. And we're all going to see how he's going to lose.